From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and you're going to be looking at this warming trend continuing. It's going to really be noticeable by the end of the week, and especially this weekend. 106, 107 degrees is a very good possibility. Not as hot next week, but it's going to start off rather hot. A gradual decrease in our temperatures, especially by the middle and latter part of next week. But just kind of the broad range, looking at the whole entire picture, sunny, hot, and dry as we look at that long range. All right, for those of you in a hurry, here's a quick look at your forecast over the next 24 hours from Krueger's QuickCast for your Wednesday, August 6th. Tonight, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for the valley, fairly mild, 40s and 50s for the mountains, and mid to upper 50s for the coast. You've got those mostly cloudy skies there with that fog. The clouds should start to clear out here overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Sunny skies, mild in the valley, around mid 70s by 8 o'clock in the morning. Upper 50s for most of the higher elevations in the coast. The coast, of course, seeing the fog. And then we'll be looking at temperatures low 60s for many of you, that is, in the eastern mountains. So for tomorrow, flirting with 100 degrees. Some of us may even touch 100 degrees. So if you work outdoors, just know you're going to start feeling that heat more and more. So maybe take more water breaks, more breaks in general, because the heat is really going to start kicking in, especially by your Friday. Yeah, Friday is really where you're going to notice it. In fact, you can see that on the 7-day outlook. Over 100 degrees in most cases for the valley, and even hotter over the weekend. And I do expect temperatures to start to slowly drop after that, but still quite hot, even as we go into Monday and even Tuesday of next week. For the coast, even around 70. Yeah, 70 by Friday and Saturday. Temperatures dropping a little bit after that, but over 100 degrees starting Friday for inland and for Weaverville through the weekend and into early next week. For Siskiyou, Modoc County, the Eastern Mountains, even Susanville, you could quite possibly see that triple-digit mark by Sunday into Monday. Otherwise, mid to upper 90s for most of those higher elevations, and that gradual dip in the temperatures as we take you through next week as well. All right, let's go and take a look at the 24-hour streaming channel that you have access to. It's a great resource. Go to Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, search for Weather NorCal in those app stores, and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. Now, if you don't have Roku or Fire Stick, let's say an Apple TV or even a smart TV with YouTube on it, any device that has YouTube on it for your smart TV, even your smart TV in general, you can watch the YouTube channel. Just search for Weather NorCal, put a space between Weather and NorCal. Subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Watch the 24-hour channel. And what I love about the YouTube app is we all love on demand, right? And who wants to wait until a certain time for the forecast? You can watch it wherever you are, whenever you want, right from your smart TV on YouTube. Just, you can watch the latest video forecast that has been uploaded. Check it out. All right, let's take a look at your fire weather forecast sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. And the winds are really the main thing that we've got to look at here as we really, that's a big concern sometimes when we're talking about the fires, especially if those winds start to pick up, right? Now, nothing major for the valley. 10, 15, maybe close to 20 miles per hour. A little breezy to the north, a little breezy to the east, and some gusty winds picking up here for southern Humboldt County. But take note, we're starting to see those winds along the coast begin to pick up. This is something that we're watching here as we go into the weekend. This is going to probably create some large waves, and we're probably going to start hearing about more small craft advisories and the works. So just be aware that those winds are picking up. We're going to be looking at some pretty large waves developing possibly as we kind of approach the weekend as well. And take note too, Friday, look at the winds. Now they're more from the north, unfortunately, and they're picking upwards of 20, close to 25 miles per hour. This could also be a bit of a concern because we all know that the north wind around here can really dry things out as well. So looking at your fire weather risk for your Thursday, it's actually dropping a little bit here because the wind's not as strong, but still hot, still dry, so we're still at least in that moderate range. Then we take you into your Friday around midday, already starting to see with those north winds. Already by midday, we're in that high range, and I expect it to get even higher by Friday afternoon because of those semi-gusty winds for the valley. And you see how we're seeing those humidity levels getting closer to the single digits. So again, that dry, hot north wind is something we've really got to pay attention to as we get into your Friday. So just something to be aware of. And the main smoke producer is the Big Cliff Fire, but really overall, the smoke is not spreading very far. It's mainly within the vicinity of the fire itself that we are seeing that smoke and that haze, but some of it working its way into northern Trinity County and also into parts of Siskiyou and Modoc County as well. But overall, it's not producing a ton of smoke. At least it's not having a huge impact on a lot of the air quality. But again, parts of Siskiyou County and even northern Trinity County may see slightly lower air quality. So this is the area of low pressure and the clouds that have kind of moved on through here for today, and that's going to start to move out. More sunshine and warmer temperatures in the forecast as well. Let's take you through the day with futurecast here through the day on Thursday. Looks like that fog is going to be the case here for tomorrow morning, but look at this. By Thursday afternoon, it's going to really persist a little bit in some areas, but it's going to be kind of taking a little bit longer than I think you'd like, but eventually some clearing here for the coast here Thursday afternoon, maybe a few afternoon cumulus clouds in the mountains, but otherwise mainly sunny. And then we go into your Friday morning, some fog actually along the coast, especially Humboldt Bay, but clear skies to start off the day for many of you along the coast, and keeping it fairly clear for the most part, even Friday afternoon. And again, just a couple of afternoon cumulus clouds for some of the mountains, but that's really the extent of it. That mild air is moving on out, and behind that trough of low pressure is warmer air. You see this big ridge of high pressure right here over the eastern Pacific? This is building and building and building. As it builds and gets stronger, our temperatures go up. This is the peak right here. Look how big that ridge of high pressure is. Now, the key is this. The center of that ridge of high pressure is not here. If it was here, oh, you want to talk about some hot temperatures. I mean, it would be a lot hotter. But we're still getting hot, right? Temperatures upwards of 105, 106, 107, maybe even 108 in some spots here. Now, once we get into early next week, we're going to start to slowly see this break down. What that means is temperatures will start to drop slowly. Yes, this ridge builds in, but not as strong as the one we're seeing over the eastern Pacific. So bottom line, the peak of this heat wave looks to be over the weekend into early next week. And then after that, temperatures do start to drop. So Friday, 104 kind of peaks, right? Just a slight dip, and then maybe even dropping below normal by that next weekend. We'll see, but something worth watching. Here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We start off here with Trinity County, where temperatures will be in the low to mid 90s. There is the peak of the warming trend over the weekend into early next week. Here is your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast. The coast even getting warmer, right around 70 for Friday, Saturday, before dropping back down to the mid 60s by next week. 93 for Orleans today, for tomorrow, 93 in Hoopa, 95 in Willow Creek. We're up to 101 Friday, over 100 degrees over the weekend into early next week. Your Siskiyou County Dignity Health neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the 80s for the most part, although Happy Camp, one of the warmer spots at 96. 88 for Etna, 83 for Weed. I mean, there it is, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, we're getting closer, but not quite, but close to 100 degrees for Siskiyou County by the end of the weekend and early next week. And Modoc County, temperatures for your Thursday, low to mid 80s. Not that bad, right? But it's warming up, mid to upper 90s there as well for Sunday and Monday. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, temperatures 80s and 90s, 90 for Paradise, 91 for Susanville, 90 in Doyle. And Susanville, you're getting up to around 100 degrees by Sunday, Monday, and possibly even Tuesday of next week. Let's take a look at your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast to the south. Temperatures there in the mid to upper 90s, 97 degrees for Los Molinos, 95 for Hamilton City, 95 in Gridley. We take a look at your 7-day forecast for Chico. Yeah, it's 100 degrees by Friday, over 100 degrees by Saturday, Sunday, and then back down to the upper 90s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Let's take it up to the north. Yeah, I mean, some of us could touch 100 degrees here for tomorrow. You get the idea. It's getting hotter out there. Again, if you work outside, just know, yeah, you're going to feel that heat a little bit more. 94 degrees in Whiskeytown as well as Lakehead, 98 degrees in Cottonwood and Red Bluff, about 97. And we take a look at that 7-day forecast for Redding. There it is, 107, 108 by Saturday. Temperatures dropping slightly, but still very hot Sunday to Monday. And then temperatures starting to drop after that. I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing about more advisories as far as heat is concerned, and maybe even some fire weather watches, and eventually maybe some red flag warnings as it heats up and those winds pick up more out of the north. That is your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have yourselves a great night.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.